We are live. Let's send out another tweet. All right. Hanging out for a bit until we get some more people in. Absolutely insane. I don't even know what to do with this. I have no idea. I was not ready for this. I should have my mic next to me. That would help. I am not ready for Nick Saban to retire. Big Nick Saban guy myself. What's it called? Wikipedia hasn't even updated yet. Still listed there. 9-5 in the college football playoff. How many championships? 3? Hey, Danny, thanks for joining. I have no idea what's going on. This is insane because not only Saban retiring, but I mean you're also losing Pete Carroll. I guess he's staying in the front office there, but that doesn't affect ASU. I'm honestly not even sure what ASU is thinking right now. Here's how I think it could affect Arizona State, because I do think that there is a possibility here that Arizona State can capitalize, and it's in recruiting. It's all in recruiting because we know that Kenny Dillingham is a really good recruiter. He recruited at Florida State. He recruited at Oregon. He's already got 3 4-stars in 2 years at Arizona State. One of them was a borderline 5-star kid with Jaden Rashada. You got a really good 4-star Jason Brown. You got Jaden Fortier is coming in. So they're doing a good job recruiting right now. Now what you have done is potentially take Alabama out of the race, quote unquote, out of the race. Here's the thing. Alabama is always going to recruit itself, no matter who the head coach is. I could be the head coach. Alabama's still going to recruit. But you are opening up a possibility for Kenny Dillingham to really take a step forward as a recruiter, because now these 5-star kids, these super high 4-star kids who had their eyes set on Alabama because of Nick Saban, maybe Kenny Dillingham can reach out to them. It's a stretch. 100% it's a stretch. Thanks for joining, guys. We're talking about Alabama and Nick Saban leaving. Here's the thing. We're trying to relate it to Arizona State just because that's how we got to spin this stuff. But honestly, we're just good having conversation about Nick Saban. So how I can see it affecting Arizona State would potentially be in the recruiting department, because Arizona State is still not ready to be on a level of Alabama. And they're not even close. They're years and years and years away from this. What I am curious about is how it's going to affect our recruiting. We have done a little bit in the South. We've recruited a couple kids from Louisiana. You have done your work in Texas. The hashtag Texas to Tempe is going on. Now I want to know if you can start recruiting Alabama, because you're trying to get into that region, right? You're trying to get into the South. You're getting Texas, Louisiana, Florida, hopefully Alabama could be mixed in there. If you are able to really start recruiting and getting down there, I'm curious what you can start to do moving forward. But this feels like distant future kind of stuff for Arizona State. I don't know if this is going to affect us right now. This might not happen until next year or the year after. But if it is going to affect Arizona State in any way, shape, or form, it is going to be in recruiting. It's going to be how Arizona State is able to start pulling in the high 4-stars and the 5-stars on an annual basis. Because I've said this before, and I will continue to say this: the 5-stars are coming for Arizona State. They are coming. I don't know when. They were in on a couple of guys throughout the year, I know that they were probably going for some guys a year ago, but like they were really in on Elijah Rushing. They were one of the main teams or programs rather that was really really pushing for Elijah Rushing, and he chooses Oregon after decommitting from U of A. But I know that right up until the end, Arizona State was all in on Rushing. And from my understanding, we were still a very strong possibility for him. It's just that Oregon is in a much better spot. But Arizona State is going after these high recruited kids. It's not just the 3 stars, it's not just 4 stars. They're going after the top guys. They are just trying to rebuild an image. And when you finally are able to rebuild that image, that's where I'm curious what happens next. I'm curious if Arizona State is able to start recruiting in the state of Alabama, if they are able to really take advantage of the drop off that Alabama is more than likely going to see. They can hire whoever they want. I want to know who you guys like. The first mind that, or the first guy who came to my head was Urban Meyer. And that would be really interesting for Dirty Urban to go to Alabama. The program recruits itself. They are going to be able to take whoever they want. They will not be going for Kenny Dillingham because he's yet to prove himself, and Dilly is all in on Arizona State, so we don't have to worry about that. Quite frankly, there's no one really on the coaching staff that Alabama would consider right now. So our staff is safe. I imagine the guys we're bringing in through the transfer portal and through our recruiting class, I don't know if they had offers from Alabama. So I don't think this is really going to impact us this year. But how we assess this moving forward is where I'm going to be so curious. Is this going to be a really good stepping point for Arizona State to take that next level in their recruiting boundaries? Again, this is where I really think that Arizona State would be impacted. It's not so much in wins and losses. It's not so much in different coaching levels and whether or not Alabama would pluck somebody from Arizona State. I think this definitely has a lot more to do with the recruiting aspect of things. Because again, Kenny Dillingham can recruit as you know what off. There's no question that Kenny Dillingham can be a great, great recruiter. I 100% believe in him. As I have said many times, and as I will reiterate again, the 5 stars are coming. They are going to start flooding to Arizona State. The question is, where are they coming from? Is it California? Is it Texas? Can you insert yourself into Louisiana, in Alabama, in Florida, where Saban had such a stranglehold on the guys that were coming out of Alabama and the guys that were coming out of Mississippi and Louisiana and Florida and southern Texas? Like, now that Saban is off the table, there are opportunities for other schools to start going in and other schools to start really recruiting that area of the country. Kenny Dillingham is a good recruiter. There are dots to connect here. They've already started getting kids in Louisiana. They plucked a kid this year. I can't remember who it was, but they plucked a kid from Louisiana this year, and they're going to continue to work that area of the country because, as we know, that's one of the best, if not the best areas to recruit from is Alabama, is Florida, is Texas. This is a really good chance for Arizona State to take a huge, huge opportunity now with recruiting, with the recruiting aspect of things to assert themselves. That's what's really got my attention right now, is whether or not we can become the next level recruiters. 100th time, Kenny can recruit. He has already shown it. We've got 3 4-stars in 2 seasons, 2 off seasons now. One of them was Jaden Rashada, super high 5-star. We can do it. We can recruit. And we're only going to get better when the wins start coming in, once the NIL starts coming in. And the NIL is also something to really figure out. And hopefully they're trending in the right direction now at Arizona State, is getting that NIL done. Because once you do get NIL figured out, and once Kenny Dillingham and the Sun Devils are established, not if they're established, are firmly, it's a when, not if they get established, you can start recruiting 5 stars on a regular, consistent, annual basis. You are now looking at the southeast side of the country opening up a little bit more. Because if we're being honest, those kids that are 4 stars, 5 stars, Alabama gives them an offer. They're either going to Alabama or they're understanding that they can go wherever they want. And a team or a program like Arizona State isn't going to be in a running for those guys. But if you're able to start recruiting those guys on a consistent basis, you are going to be able to go into the southeast side of the country and you are going to be able to start pulling those players. That's where I think this impacts Arizona State. That's where I think Arizona State is going to be able to really start to take advantage of a guy like Nick Saban retiring. Because at the end of the day, we're not even close to Alabama. Not even close. It is so night and day different. We played them 100 times right now. They beat us 100 times. Like, I know we were close with Washington. Alabama on a consistent basis is better than Washington. This year, not really, but neither here nor there. Point is, we're not there yet. I think that we can get there. What I know we can do is be an annual 8, 9, 10 win program. 100%. Now it's a matter of the recruiting. Once you get recruiting on track, once you're able to start stacking those wins, get that NIL going, Arizona State, as we know and as many people have said, is a sleeping giant. Well, this is an opportunity to start awakening that giant. Take that next step forward with your recruiting. That's where we're at right now. Once you do that, sky's the limit for this team, man. I'm really excited for the future. I want to talk a little bit about Nick Saban, though, because for my money, pound for pound, Nick Saban is the greatest head coach in college football, the entirety of the history. And I would make a serious argument that Nick Saban is one of the greatest sports head coaches ever. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, whatever. At any different level, I will tell you that Nick Saban is arguably the greatest head coach of a sports program. Dude was unbelievable. 292 wins, 71 losses, 1 tie. 19-12 in bowl games, 9-5 in college football playoff with 3 college football playoff national championships. 7 total, 6 of them with Alabama. 11-time SEC champion, 12-time SEC Western Conference Division champion, 2-time Walter Camp Coach of the Year award, which, if we're being honest, he could probably win that thing every year. But as we know, like with the LeBrons of the world, like people get voter fatigue and you don't want to vote for the same guys over and over and over again. The accolades, man, are just endless here for Nick Saban. It's unbelievable the things he was able to do. And like one of my favorite what ifs with Nick Saban is when he was the head coach at Miami, their medical staff did not clear Drew Brees, who was a free agent at the time. They didn't clear Drew Brees for his shoulder injury. And because of that, Brees ends up signing with the Saints, and we all know how that goes. He goes on to be arguably the greatest gunslinger in NFL history, one of the most accomplished passers in the league, a Super Bowl champion. The Saints, I wouldn't say they lucked out at all, but what I am curious with is if the Dolphins coaching staff or medical staff did clear Drew Brees, A, does he go to Miami? B, if he does go to Miami, is Nick Saban not getting fired? Is he still going to be there? That's where I'm so interested in this big old what if situation is so much gets affected at that point because Drew Brees becomes a Dolphin. What happens with New Orleans? Is Sean Payton still going to be the head coach? Does he get fired? What goes on with Miami? They're going to be playing Drew Brees will be playing Tom Brady twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. The Dolphins probably build a bit of a dynasty down there. And You talk about the way that impacts the NFL and the AFC. God, how many Super Bowls are the AFC winning? You're already winning a bunch with Tom Brady, with Peyton Manning, with Ben Roethlisberger. Then you add Drew Brees to the mix. God, dude, that's insane to think about. Like, the NFL's forever changed, but then college football's forever changed because Nick Saban doesn't go to Alabama. So who does? Like, I wasn't really paying attention to college football when he got there in 2007. Like, what happens at Alabama? Who becomes their head coach? Alabama was not a great program back then. They were a 4-loss, 5-loss, 6-loss program before Saban got there. Heck, his first year there, they won. I think they were 5-7 his first year. Let's see, head coaching record. He was 2-6. He was 2-6 his first year at Alabama. Like, he did not have instant success there. So what happens if he never goes to Alabama? If he stays in the pros, if he stays at Miami, does he build a dynasty? Does it still not work? Does he still not get anything going with Drew Brees and the Dolphins, and then he ends up in college anyways? What if the Alabama job's not available when he leaves the NFL? What do we do at that point? If he does burn out in the NFL and he comes to college football again, but the Alabama job's not open, where does he go? There's so many interesting what if scenarios that happen if the Dolphins medical staff clears Drew Brees. And Nick Saban is at the forefront of all that what ifs. But the bottom line is he still ended up at I almost said Arizona State. I wish he ends up at Alabama. And my oh my, was he successful. 201 career wins, 117 of those came in conference play. Dude, he was 117 wins and 18 losses in SEC play. That is insane. That I can't even wrap my head around that, man. He was there for 17 years. So he was averaging just over 1 loss per year in conference play. And keep in mind, he had 6 perfect 8-0 seasons in conference play. He went perfect, undefeated in conference play 6 different times. One of them, he was 10-0 in 2020. Otherworldly, that kind of success. Can't even begin to imagine it. 201 wins against 29 losses. So 18 were in the SEC, 11 of them were not in the SEC. So less than 1 loss a year for Nick Saban was coming out of conference. That's nuts. And 29 losses in 14 years, barely 2 losses a year. Barely 2 losses a year. Averaging well over 10 wins per season. These are astronomical numbers, and I don't know if we're ever going to see it again. The closest we got right now is Kirby Smart. Outside of Kirby, I mean, there's not much else going on in college football. You might have something if Harbaugh stays at Michigan. I feel like he's going to the NFL. Right, wrong, or indifferent too, because he should not be leaving. He should not be leaving Michigan. But God, they got a witch hunt going on for him right now, and I don't really know where that's going to end up going. But I feel like he's going to end up leaving Michigan. And like, it would be so interesting, right, to see if he were to wind up at Alabama. But the thing is, like, he's already got Michigan in such a good position that it's like, would it even be worth it? Would it even be worth leaving Michigan to go to Alabama when you're already doing as good a job recruiting as you are anything else? I don't know. Oh man, dude, there's so much right now that's going to be affected by Nick Saban leaving. So much. Oh man. For the few of you guys in here, thanks for hopping in. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let's start Let's start a conversation. I've been doing all sorts of talking, and I'll continue to be talking, but I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you think it affects Arizona State, or do you think that this is just unprecedented? Yeah, he went to six straight, or not six straight. He went to six college football national championship games in a 7-year stretch. The one year he didn't go was 2019, and they just missed it entirely because that was that LSU team that was just otherworldly good. Other than that, man, in the history of the college football playoff, right? He has missed it twice. Once. He's missed it once. Yeah, he's missed it once in the history of the college football playoff. He didn't make the playoff one time. He missed the national championship game. Man. Or no, he missed the playoff twice. He missed in 2022. He missed in 2022. So he missed in 2019 and 2022. In that time frame, he went to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6 title games. He won 3 of them. He went 3-3. So what was his record if I can do math? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10-4, 10-5, 10-6. I think 10-6 if I can do my math right. That's that you have a winning record in the college football playoff. And that's even before they introduced 12 teams. He only did the 14 playoff and he missed it twice. Oh man, and went to 6. He went to 6 national championships in the college football playoff. He could have gone to 7 this year if they have a better play call or if that center doesn't play like dog water, man. Oh my God. The whole game he was snapping in at Jalen Milroe's ankles. Like, how are you on scholarship at Alabama and you can't snap a football? That's mind blowing to me. I don't know how that happens. But man, the success that he had at Alabama is otherworldly. Outside of that 2-6 season, his first season there, his worst season was 2010. He went 10-3 and he won the Capital One Bowl. Other than that, every single season was at least 11 wins. At least 11. How? How, man? That's in freaking sane. The success he had. Outside of that 10-3 season, he never had more than 2 losses. He had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seasons since 2010 of 2 losses and never more than 2. I can't even begin to wrap my head around that kind of success and that kind of sustained success. It's not like it happened like 3 times in 5 years. Like, you're talking every season since 2010. Never had more than 2 losses, always had at least 11 wins. Won 2 BCS national champions, won 3 college football championships. Pretty much went to a big bowl game every year. Like, the worst bowl game he went to was 2019. He still went to the Citrus Bowl. Other than that, he always went to a New Year's Six Bowl. Cotton Bowl, Peach Bowl, Sugar, Rose. Yeah, he did it all. He did it all. And he's obviously got nothing to prove. Like, this is such a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer. Should be, you know what? He retired an hour ago. You should be in the Hall of Fame already. He is that good. Insane. And I think, again, that if this does affect Arizona State in any way, shape, or form, it's going to be in terms of recruiting. That's where you're going to see the biggest change that Alabama could possibly present for Arizona State would be in recruiting. That's like the only way I could see things really, really change here. Who were his 3 losses to in the playoff? So he lost to Clemson twice. Oh, and then Georgia. Georgia beat him. So those were your 3 losses in national championship games. And then in 2023, he lost to Michigan. In 2014, he lost to Ohio State. So the 2 losses he had, so pretty much when he lost a game in the college football playoff, when he lost to the national champions. Yeah. So he lost 3 championship games. 2014, he lost to Ohio State, who beat Oregon. And then this year, he lost to Michigan, who beat Washington. So if you beat Alabama in the playoff, you won a national championship. Insane. 2019, that was the LSU team that he finished second place. LSU won a national championship. 2022, LSU won the conference, or not the conference, the division at, I think they were 11-2 also. And then they lost to Georgia in the SEC championship, and then Georgia wins the national championship. So, yeah, pretty much since 2010, either Alabama won the national championship or the team they beat them won the national championship, with the lone exception of 2022 with LSU. Other than that, 2011 they won, 2012 they won, 2013 that would have been an exception too. So in 2013 Auburn, they didn't win, but Auburn went to the national championship. So they went to a national championship. 2014, they lost to Ohio State. 2015, they beat Clemson. 2016, they lost to Clemson. 2017, did they play Clemson again in 2017? Or who'd they play? I want to say, let's click on it, that they played. Oh, that was Georgia with was it Jake Fromm? Took Georgia there, and then Tua comes in for Jalen Hurts and throws that touchdown to Devontae Smith. Oh, that was I can't believe that was 2016. I can't believe, or 2017, excuse me. I can't believe that was 2017. It does not feel like it was that long ago. And then 2018 is when they played Clemson again. That was Trevor Lawrence. 2019, they didn't make it. That was the LSU team that rolled everyone. 2020, they beat. Who'd they beat in 2020? Ohio State. Well, they kicked the crap out of them. Why don't I remember that game? Is there like a statistic? Oh, that was Mac Jones. Dude, that was the Mac Jones, Najee Harris, Devontae Smith were all like Heisman finalists. Yeah, that was an insane season for them. That was an insane season for that team. They did a whole lot of stuff that season. That was one of Nick Saban's best teams, man. They went crazy. Devontae Smith won the Heisman. Mac Jones got the Davey O'Brien. Najee Harris got the Doak Walker. Alex Leatherwood, who didn't do anything in the pros, was cut after 1 year. Got the Outland Trophy. Surtain got the Defensive Player of the Year in SEC. The whole offensive line got the Joe Moore Award. Saban got the Paul Bear Bryant Award. Sarkisian got the Broyles Award. That 2020 Alabama team, pound for pound, very well could have been the best team he ever had. You would put it up there with some of those early 2010 teams. That 2011 team was really, really good with Trent Richardson and all them. And you had the greatest game of all time in 21-0 win over LSU. The 2012 team was really good. Yeah, dude, man, that 2020 Alabama team might be pound for pound the best team that he ever had. It'd be a really interesting argument to see who or which teams you would stack up against them. Because it was also the COVID year, so they only went 13-0. They missed 2 games, but they were one of the few teams that had a perfect season, including the national championship run. So other than that, he lost a game in each of his title runs. That was his lone perfect season ever at Alabama. He always had at least one loss. I would have lost that bet. I thought he would have been perfect at least. Okay, I was wrong. 2009, he did go perfect. That makes more sense. I was going to say, there's no way he only went perfect once. Yeah, so perfect in 2009 and perfect in 2020. Was that 2019? That was Greg McElroy, I think. I think that was Greg McElroy. Can I see stats? Let's see. Awesome. I'm pretty sure that was Greg McElroy. Yeah, it was Greg McElroy. Yeah, that was a crazy team. Saban had a lot of friggin' success, man. Absolutely insane that he's retiring. I still can't believe it personally, but I mean, good for him. They were a heck of a program for the time that he was there. So, I'm probably going to wrap this up here. It's late. It's 4:30, but we'll wrap it up with this because I'm sure some people will check this out later. I think that this could affect Arizona State in terms of recruiting. If it's going to affect Arizona State in any way, shape, or form, it's going to be in recruiting because Arizona State is going to be a very good recruiting program under Kenny Dillingham. I think they're already flexing that. So you're going to see them start to do some more damage in the recruiting aspect of things. Once they start to get that taken care of, you are going to see everything really take off for Arizona State. But with Nick Saban out of the picture, yes, Alabama still recruits itself, but with Nick Saban out of the picture, there is a very good chance that that Arizona State can start to flex its muscles. You got to start winning games. You got to get NIL on track, but Kenny can recruit. Once you win games, once you get NIL, that sleeping giant that everyone refers to as the Arizona State Sun Devils is hopefully going to be able to take that next step forward. Those are my thoughts on how it affects Arizona State. I already put out there that in terms of overall, I think Nick Saban is the greatest college coach of all time. I think he's the greatest football coach of all time. And pound for pound might be the greatest sports coach in any level of all time. The amount of success he had, the fact that he was just, oh my God. At Alabama, he was 201 wins against 29 losses. So he was almost winning 7 games per loss. It was right there, 201 to 29. So it would have been 17 and a half games. And then he would lose one. And then he'd win another 17 and a half and he'd lose one. Or 7.5, not 17. Oh my God, that'd be nuts. 7.5. He'd win 7.5 games and then lose one. Another 7.5 and lose one. That is absurd insanity. I would love for Arizona State to get to that point. We'll see what happens. Bottom line, it's going to affect recruiting. That's where I stand with this. Hopefully, we can maybe sweet talk some of his recruits to come here. I actually was taking a look earlier. He does not have any recruits from the state of Arizona that are going to his program. So we're going to be SOL there, unless I missed someone in the 2025 class, but I don't think that there's anybody. Yeah, there's no 2025 commits, no 2024 commits. I would be surprised if he has a 2026 commit from Arizona. He does have a commit though, which is kind of crazy. So, to my knowledge, there's also not anyone on the roster that's from Arizona right now. So we'll see, man. Good things are coming for Arizona State for sure. One more time to wrap it up. If it is going to affect Arizona State, it's going to be in terms of recruiting. It's not going to be in wins and losses. It's not going to be in conference play, very obviously. It would be in terms of recruiting. The 5 stars are coming. There's already 4 stars at Arizona State. They have already tried and successfully infiltrated the southeast of the country. They've gotten a hold of Louisiana a couple times. They're in Texas. They're trying for Florida. They're moving to the Big 12, which is going to be able to flex them even more. Recruiting is absolutely on the up and end. I don't remember what the saying is, but things are getting better for Arizona State daily. The departure of Nick Saban has a very good chance to affect them in a very good way. That's what I got. Overall, love Nick Saban. Love him to death. Really sad he's going. That's my thoughts. So I appreciate you guys. I know a lot of you guys were in and out of here. I know that plenty of you are going to check this out later. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Yeah, just let me know what you think about Saban leaving. Period. Do you have a favorite Saban moment? Let me know. I'll see you guys later. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Till then, you keep it locked right here on Locked On Sun Devils.